go. We're live again on another episode of Reels and Heels, episode 96. And Nicole will be joining us eventually. She's got back just from donating plasma, so she's hanging out on the chair. But today we have XFL fans, a couple San Antonio fans. We have somebody from St. Louis. But today is about giving we're 1 week from kickoff, exactly like right now. 1 week from kickoff. And so we're going to give our final thoughts, kind of predictions of how the league's going to go. So let me introduce our first guest here, Leo from the Smoking Guns podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Brian, for having me back on the show. Happy to be here.
Oh, yeah. And then we got Steve, the OG. You want to explain why you're called the OG?
In the 30 plus years, the 32 years I've lived in San Antonio, I have basically been a super fan for almost every minor team that we've had that started when I moved here, not had already been in existence. So things like the Spurs and the Missions there. Yeah. I've been here for everything from arena football, Central Hockey League, XFL, not USFL, Canadian football. We had the Canadian football thing down here, and I've been one of those staunch, avid supporters.
World League.
World League.
Yeah.
World League of American football, yes.
And then we have Amanda from the X Fan Show. More importantly, you do the B-Hawks Live.
B-Hawk Live, yep. Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and then for those that might not know, what is that show?
So it is the Battlehawks B-Hawk Live. So we talk all St. Louis Battlehawks, which, no point intended, we're going to be awesome this year.
Yeah, we kind of have a little rivalry going that started, I don't know, I would say a good few months ago between St. Louis and, like, even before the teams actually knew their names. I was seeing on social media the bickering between the cities, which is really cool. As a sports fan, I mean, that comes with the territory. So
yeah, St. Louis is a very competitive state. That is for sure. Very.
Well, you see, San Antonio has an awesome fan base. They're like the unknown nationally. They're the fan base that no one really knows about or appreciates because we've never really had a chance to really show what we're about. Other than with the San Antonio Spurs, but outside of that, we're under the radar completely. We finally got a chance to show something with the Commanders in the AAF, and we were the number one fan group in that league by far. Although some people would have argued that the Orlando Apollos might have something to say about that, but we were definitely the top fan base. So when we knew we were going to be in the XFL, we had heard all this about, the Battlehawks fan base up in St. Louis and how they were the number one fan base. And being who we are in San Antonio, we're not aiming to be number two in anything. So we saw who number one was, and that's who we were going after. And we say, okay, all right, you guys were number one last time, but that's just because we weren't there. So here we are. Welcome, San Antonio. And
here you go, challenging me again.
You're going to see what we're about.
Leo was on our show on Wednesday, and he's going to challenge me again.
Yeah, San Antonio has always been, especially with the NFL, a bargaining chip. It started with the Vikings, and then most recently with the Raiders.
So the Chargers in there one time.
Yep. The Chargers were bargaining there too. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have a great facility too.
Yeah, it's a little outdated, but it's for when it was built. It was built as a first class facility, and it's kind of held its own over time. Not a bad seat in the place really, and it's nice, and also because of the weather down here, where you could get some pretty hot days in August, September, and right in the thick of NFL season time and football season. It's nice to have an indoor facility and have temperature controlled environment. So for sure.
Yeah. And then in like June of this year, I think they're starting a $56 million renovation, which will be done in time for season 2 of XFL. I feel sorry for the Roadrunners that have to deal with the construction during their season, but
Did they call your stadium the Toilet Bowl Stadium?
I've not heard that before.
Oh,
Nobody
okay.
says that in San Antonio, that's for sure.
Did Dirty
Maybe
call
outside
it
of
that?
San Antonio.
I think Dirty
Oh,
called it
Dirty says a lot of things, right?
yeah. Well, Dirty, according to Dirty, everyone is wrong and he is right.
that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he lives in his
I love
own
him, though.
world. Yeah, he's a
Right.
great guy.
He is a great guy. Anyway.
So, I was telling you before we started that my son loves playing racing games, and so I want to show you guys this that he created just today.
Oh, that looks good.
That is pretty cool.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Here's the front.
He took the alternate logo.
Store-bought.
Yeah, that's like something you could put on your desk somewhere or something. Yeah, like exactly. I love the horn on the side on the door.
Yeah.
How
That's the
incorporated
new
that.
logo too on the front, like on
Yeah.
the hood. That's like the brand new.
The alternate logo.
Impressive.
Yeah, that's great stuff, man. Good job.
Yeah, he's always creating stuff on I want to say it's iRacing. It has NASCAR, Indy cars, all kinds of racings, even trucks. And he's always creating stuff. Like he's created WWE stuff, and I think he
That's
created
awesome.
an AEW car.
That's
So
really impressive.
there's Arlington. I don't know if he's frozen though. Oh no.
He
It's-
always has.
I was gonna say it seems like Arlington is always the
He
one. If someone's
always
gonna have
has.
problems, it's Arlington. Arlington's gonna have the issue.
Let's see. Jay might be in the same situation. Hey Jay, how you doing?
Jay's not driving.
What's going on, Jay?
What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
So
The
we had the rosters come out the other day, so we're gonna run through these rosters because I know we love our teams, but we want this league in general to survive. The past hasn't been good for spring football, especially with the XFL.
Everyone loves the car, by the way, in the comments, by the way. People are liking the car. It's really cool.
Yeah, the car is awesome. I would actually love to see an actual car. That would be really cool.
Really cool.
Yeah. So let me I guess we'll start with the Brahmas here. Here's the 51-man roster. For those that are the San Antonians, I'm not there yet. I'll be there in the summer after the season. How do you feel about this roster?
I think it looks good. And I'm from St. Louis. It's terrible. I
Nice.
think it looks good.
We got Amanda to say that the roster looks good. So that says
Mhm.
that's
So I
telling
guess
right
I'll just
there.
look with the OG since you've been there for a very long time. How are you comfortable with this roster?
I'm comfortable with the initiative of the coach. I'm comfortable with because there were a lot of people that were bickering about guys who got cut. I'm like, and as I told Leo and I've told others, is there are two reasons you get cut. You didn't work hard enough, or somebody worked harder. You got 51 guys there that worked hard enough and made themselves known to the coach and the coaching staff.
Or that connection was not there.
Right. So yeah, if that connection wasn't there, that basically means you didn't work hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, people got to understand. There's always someone working harder than you. I mean, my wife is a teacher, right? So it's like in the education field, there's always they're looking for teachers and stuff, and so they want the right kind of teacher. So there's always that better teacher that's vying for a position. It's like that in sports as well. There's always that one person. We're pro wrestling fans. So, you have people that complain about, who's on top and all that. There's always that one person or multiple people that are better than you. So you just got to work harder. I
can always be replaced. There's always a replacement in your spot.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know,
True.
they made a did they
Yep.
make a movie, right? The Replacements, right? I think it
Mhm.
was a football movie with Keanu Reeves.
Great movie
they did.
too. Mhm.
Yeah,
That movie that was about the guys who there's the scabs from the '87, and that's really based on the '87 strike.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
as people in San Antonio and St. Louis, how do you feel about this roster, the Sea Dragons? Is this a team that we should be worried about?
Ben
Yeah,
DiNucci. That
DiNucci
scares me.
and Josh Gordon is a name
Josh
that everybody
Gordon,
knows.
wait a minute, Josh Gordon's in Seattle.
Josh
God.
Gordon is in Seattle. Yeah. And everybody knows the Jets that he has on him. So if he can be even 80% of what he's been in the past, that's dangerous. And DiNucci, of course, has a reputation. That's a scary quarterback there that they've got. So Seattle's going to be one to watch for sure.
Well, we can talk all about everybody's rosters and all these skill players. It's basically going to come down to it's going to come down to who can protect their quarterback. The offensive lines are going to be the key with this league because you're not going to have great offensive line play, and if you can expose who's the bad line, that's how you're going to find out who's going to win. Because Leo and I have history with the AAF. The first hit that made an entire league wake up.
Yep. I remember that well, and that I agree 100%. The key to success, games are won in the trenches, and particularly on the offensive line. So if you don't have the guys up front to protect your quarterback or to give your running back time to run the ball, hit the hole, you're going to struggle on offense. So that really is the key to everything offensively. There's Arlington.
You're muted,
So-
A-Train.
And
Not
most of the big name linemen, people you would recognize and know and understand, those guys are on NFL rosters. So I agree with Steve on that kind of that's the unknown on all these teams. And I think that's going to play a key in the success of every single one of these teams throughout the season.
Yeah,
Is
I mean,
the
and-
development of
have
those
the
guys.
best.
Coaching
I
staff of
don't
all
think
the
they have
teams.
the best offensive line. I don't think that at all.
Yep. The key is the development of those guys. I think the coaching along the offensive line and how they're going to be able to coach these guys up and work on their technique and improve. So I think that's going to be a key thing for this league on every one of the teams.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up. This is the Orlando roster. I don't know. Orlando is kind of a hit and miss.
I'm over it.
I mean, their big news
Next.
recent was the Paxton Lynch signing, and I don't know.
I'm over it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that that's really anything to be too impressed with. So
I know people have feelings about this team.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people think the Renegades are going to be the team to beat, but I think it's mostly due to coaching.
When you put on rollerblades and you go rollerblading and you're just kind of just gliding. That's kind of how I feel with them. I just feel like I'm gliding with that team.
Yeah.
Easy come, easy go. That's how I feel.
What do you got to say about that, Arlington? I mean, you've got some connections with that organization, don't you?
Yeah. Listen, Amanda. Come on, because she's mad at me because I have put my hat with a different team now, and it's not with the St. Louis team anymore. But here's the thing: a lot of those players were former Battlehawks, like Taylor Russolino, and then you have Marquette King, who's all excited, for the upcoming season, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they fare in that very first game against Vegas. And if you pull the roster back up really quick I want you to see something. There's Will Hill and Joe Powell, right? Those were two guys that were killer on that secondary, especially Joe Powell, who made the first kickoff return for a touchdown in XFL history back in 2020. You also got guys like Will Clark. All right. So at least on the defensive end, you see many Battlehawks. And then on the offensive line, you got Brian Folkers, the St. Louis guy. They help a lot with that line. And when it was Teamu back there, but now I think Kyle Slaughter is going to be the guy that's going to be the number one quarterback for Arlington. You know what I mean? And great seeing Keith Ford back out there as well. And another name you need to really look at seeing is Jordan Smallwood at wide receiver. So he could do some big things for that team if they utilize him correctly.
Now, does anybody know, since a lot of these guys, are college people that didn't make the NFL, or maybe they're a little bit older and, were cut from the NFL, what is the average age of most of these players in this league? Arlington, do you know?
I would have to say 26, 27.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
About the average age, because some have had cups of coffee in the league, and then others, I think probably AJ McCarron probably might be one of the oldest out there. And he's 32.
32.
So if you're looking at an age range of potentially 26 and 27, these guys are just wanting to, because they love the game so much and they really want an opportunity. And so a lot of them get overlooked. A lot of them are, a lot of the coaches in the NFL is like, you don't fit our system. So they look past them. And this is an opportunity for them. And to this day, I'm still a little deterred by that. But, them coinciding with the NFL, I always thought that the XFL should be its own league, build its own stars. But for it to work, they have to work with the NFL in this case. And I'll keep preaching that, because they want a shot, and I hope they get the shot. But if it doesn't come that way, there shouldn't be anything wrong with them playing in the XFL. Understand, like with the Vegas Vipers and Brett Hundley, they're using them as a starting quarterback. I know I may be jumping the gun a bit, but
no, that's fine. You're talking about Vegas, so I'll bring up Vegas here.
Yeah, you got Brett Hundley, who they label him as the highest paid player in the league, which is actually kind of crazy because in the past, I think it was Landry Jones was the highest paid player in the league, and he was getting mostly closer to $500,000 to play.
Oh no! Oh no! I did not know he was
What's up, everybody?
no!
Okay, so hold on. We're not going to make this completely San Antonio.
It's headed that direction.
Oh no!
Hey, I know that guy.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Oh no! My heart about skipped 20 beats about.
Hey, and Dirty ain't here to save you either.
I have that effect on people. And you know what? It's perfect timing because my new gear just showed up like an hour ago. So, yeah.
I'm about to go snatch some. I'm about to snatch some tomorrow.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you said Vegas has a few highlights that we should be looking at.
Yes. Of course, Brett Hundley. Of course, Martavius Bryant.
Yep.
Jeff Bidet should also get some love too here, and not to mention on the linebacker end, Vic Beasley, a former Pro Bowler, is now making his comeback in the XFL. Like Vegas,
8th overall pick.
As much as we want to sit here and act like that, and don't get me wrong, San Antonio, Houston, they do have great rosters, but this Vegas roster,
Martavius Bryant, boy,
come on, man, you can't sit here and be like that. That they're gonna be they're gonna be slacking. They got players on this thing. They have
But ask yourself this: why are they no longer in the NFL?
I look at it like this.
Because they did what AJ. That's why Willis ain't there no more.
Later.
Because Willis left.
What you mean?
Willis said, "You ain't gonna play me. Bye bye."
no,
They pulled up.
that's
See ya.
totally different, though. That's totally different.
Well,
This
the
is
NFL
this
don't want them no
I'm
more. They
low-key
said
Arlington.
sure.
bye-bye.
Arlington. You got to realize something. This is a league where you may have your pride, but if you ain't in the NFL, you are swallowing your pride. You
Yeah.
want to play. You want another chance.
I'm
Well, like
Swallow that
everything.
pride and realize
want me to do well.
you can get looked at again. Hopefully you can get looked at again instead of saying,
Yeah.
I am the man, because we already know. Put it this way, I can give you one name of a guy who might end up being in the XFL soon. It's a guy who spoke a lot of stuff, but never amounted to anything. Josh Rosen.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's a possibility.
Potentially.
A
Like
lot
we were
for those
saying
guys.
with Purdy, though, too. Look at Purdy. Like, literally, he was like third round, and like I mean, it can happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot like Steve-O says. I agree with some of these guys that have the name. It's gonna depend on what kind of attitude they have. You know, are they walking around like they're the big shot, like because they still carry that name, that they have that name recognition, or are they putting in work and understanding that they're there to get looked at again? They're there to create an opportunity for themselves and be the best player they can be and try and get another shot. But if some of those are just walking around like they think they still carry the weight they did at one time because I was in the NFL, I did this or I did that. Well, that's the kind of attitude that gets you replaced real quick, because you got hungry guys coming right over your shoulder doing everything they can to overtake you. And that's what this whole XFL thing is about. And I think that's a lot of the fun piece of it. And that's why we see some of these surprise cuts, through training camp. They're not there for a reason.
For the group here, do you all see anybody who could potentially be a diva be like, you know what, fine, I'm going to the USFL then. They'll take me.
Well, I
You
mean,
see
that
happening.
That kind of already happened with Ryan Willis, right?
Willis.
Like,
yeah.
What
I think
I
that's going to
like
be a big
about
thing
this,
with the XFL is
I
people are
want
going
to
to
say
need to
what I
humble
like about this
themselves.
league is you have hungry players. Where the NFL, sure, they love playing the game, but it seems like they all are trying to work out contracts for millions of dollars. Where you have a league here where you have people that want to get to the NFL, so it's more about the game and showing their skills than the dollar sign.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'll tell you who I was shocked about was Jonathan Alexander with the Battlehawk that came here for FanFest.
So
Why did you shock?
Because I was shocked he didn't make it.
That part.
Especially if they took him to the Fan Fest, you would think he'd be there.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I was shocked he didn't make it on the roster.
Make you wonder what happened after that.
Him and Foxworth too. Like, I kind of was shocked Foxworth didn't make it for the O-line either.
So Arlington and Amanda, you want to break down this roster and who we should be looking forward to?
AJ McCarron.
AJ McCarron?
Is that simple? Also, Marcel Aitman. They are putting a lot on him. They want him because he's a hands guy. He's a hands guy. And so when Coach Beck drafted him, he was wanting receivers and blockers. Those were the main things that he was looking for this Battlehawks team. I know this is not the 2020 group. Battlehawk fans got to take that out of your mind. It's not that type of group anymore. This is more of a balance especially on the receiver ends. He's looking for blockers and catchers. And it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize Austin Prohl in this case with his dad being the receivers coach.
Wow. Never thought I'd hear that last name again.
Yeah, in St. Louis, the pros are back. So
and Jared Jones-Smith, JJ. Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorites is Lakeem Williams. I've seen I see his passion as one of the linebackers. I think he's going to actually spearhead this defense. going into this 2023 season. Like, because there's so much passion in them. If you got a chance to check out the X-Man show when we did the B-Hawk live show and he came on, he was so passionate about what he wants to do and how much he loves the game and how much he wants to get better. I think that, see, this is the type of platform where we get to see players like him, you know, transform into something greater than that you probably would have never got a chance to see in the NFL. So I'm grateful for the XFL and this platform, but it's like, I really want XFL to have their own stars. Like, I don't want them to go over to the NFL. I'm like, I want, like, if it was about money, $1 million contracts and stuff, you know, I would love for them to just stay in the XFL. It's like, hey, this is something greater. This is something good for me. You know, I don't have to take it. It keeps the pressure off of me. You know, I know, but a lot of them want to get to the highest level. And so that's kind of my thing with that. Well, I'm thinking like they don't want to do that. It takes a lot of pressure off of them because being in the NFL is huge.
Arlington, don't you think that is just going to automatically develop from these rosters, though, that some guys are going to have the juice to be able to get up to the to the NFL rather, and then some of them just aren't, and so they're just going to stay so they can at least play the game?
And that's my thing. If you love the game, then stay with the XFL. I know it's an opportunity. It's like, but listen, when you get to the NFL, a lot of these guys are not going to see the field. All right, granted, you had in the USFL, you had Gavante Turpin. Congratulations to him. But it is a success story. But it's one. It's not 3, 4, 5, 10. And it's a shot. It's a shot to take, but it's like, I don't know. If you know that you may not get that shot and you're getting an opportunity to play in the XFL, why don't you just take that one?
I hear you, Arlington, but let me kind of interject and say what I think. Football is by its nature a violent sport. It's a very dangerous sport. And in order to be good at it, in order to be successful, you got to have something inside you. You got to have a killer instinct. You got to be an animal, and you got to want to be the absolute best every time you step on that field. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful, and you're probably going to get hurt. So these guys that are out there, they're playing that sport, and like you said, you love the game, but if you love the game, you want to be the best at it, and if you want to be the best, you have to compete against the best. I don't think there's any player that sets foot on that field whose ultimate goal is to be in the NFL and show what they have against the very best in the world, because that's where they want their stage to be. So it's kind of hard to set an expectation and hope for a guy that would say, you know, well, this is the love of the game and this is what I'm about. But really, if you're playing the sport of football, what you're about is you're out there you're an athlete and you're out there to prove something every single time you're out there. Because if you're not, you don't belong out there, in my opinion.
And it's also, you got to remember the way that the ownership is selling the league to the players, like the way that The Rock says it in the videos that he's recorded, where what the X stands for, it's the crossroads of, what would he say, opportunity and ambition. And, you know, how much you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And like they're selling it, as I feel, as a platform for these players to, like, yes, we want you here, but we want you to also go to the NFL ultimately. Like, that is the end goal. So I think that, yes, I agree with Arlington. Like, I want to make sure, like, I want the XFL to have its stars. I want people to be proud to be in the XFL, but I also understand that, you know, they have their dreams and ambitions, and they're also being sold by the ownership of the league that, you know, we want you to move on to bigger and better things from what we can offer you as well. So I think that that's something we also got to keep take into consideration of how it's being sold to the players when they sign that contract with the XFL teams.
We have to think about it too this way. Like, yes, it's being sold to them that way, but there's a point at which you realize kind of where you are. And so, like, I mean, I can only speak from like my job. It's like everybody wants to go to that next level. And so they either want to be a dean or a principal or whatever. But I went up and I hated it. And I hated every second of it. Like, it wasn't what I signed up for. So even they told me a lot about what was going to happen, and I went back. So, I mean, maybe there are guys that ultimately the NFL is their goal, but maybe they find out
The
that
grass isn't greener on the
the grass wasn't greener,
And a
and
lot of them did.
didn't live. They're not living their best life when they're playing for the NFL, when they could be, enjoying what they enjoy about football.
Yeah,
Like, that's the difference.
And Arlington and Steve will understand this. With wrestling, you have WWE and AEW. People want to go either side. We're in the same situation here with the XFL and the NFL, and then I guess the USFL, which I'm not really a fan of them. I'm sorry. I made it clear I don't like having a team represent a city and not play in that city. That's not how you build a community. And what the XFL is doing, sure, they're all in Arlington, but they play their games in their cities, and that's important.
I think this is the main thing I want people to understand. 2022 with the USFL and 2023 with the XFL, I think the XFL is going to follow the same lines kind of with 2022. They're not really worried about the attendance. Granted, I know a lot of people looking forward to have big attendances there in the XFL, but they're not making that the main thing. They want fans there, but they're not making it the main thing. The main thing is people watching the product on television.
Yeah, the revenue from TV is a lot.
If you remember back in 2020, the opening game was 3 million viewers. The Seattle versus DC game, right? And so that was a huge drop off from what it was 20 years prior to that, 2001. But the reason why that's the case now is because there are more channels, there's more streams, all of that stuff. And so now you'll be happy with the 6-figure number. You'll be happy with a 7-figure number, like in the 1 to 2 million range, because it's so many things where you can watch the game, and not to mention that you can catch the game on your phone or on your tablet or on your laptop. So I don't think they're really worried too much about attendance like it was in 2020, because they exceeded all of that. Believe it or not, that was exceeded by 5 teams. And this go round, it's wanting to make sure they get enough eyeballs to check out our product. Because hell, we all want to see what this iteration is going to be about.
Yeah, and talking with some of the.
I got to bring this up here.
What is that?
That's the old school, 2001.
Old school,
That's
original.
That's the OG original XFL.
Oh, wow.
Man, I remember them.
The Memphis Maniacs.
Which
And
team?
that was
who was the team that had He Hate Me?
Vegas.
The Vegas.
That was the
Outlaws.
Las Vegas Demons.
Vegas had He Hate Me.
Outlaws.
When they played at Sam Boyd Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the
I
things
think
that
I had to bring out a little history here for everybody.
After having spoken with some of the players from San Antonio this past week and knowing that it was their very first time ever in San Antonio, they didn't know what to expect fan-wise. They didn't know what to expect environment-wise. And speaking with them the day after, like just through Instagram, like they were impressed. At least with like the way that things turned out and the way how things turned out in San Antonio. I don't know how it went, how the players reacted in St. Louis and how what they felt after,
You lying.
No, honestly, I don't know.
You stop that right.
No, I'm being serious. Like I don't know like how the players
He's too busy
felt
broadcasting
about
the weather out there.
But I can tell you, like, I think all the players on every team, when they get their first home game, if they've never been to the city that they've been in, they're going to be in for a surprise in certain cities, St. Louis being one of them. So I'm giving y'all some props there. But I think that they're going to be for a surprise when they realize how loud and how passionate that fan bases have been getting built up. Because I don't think that I know that a lot of the players, at least from San Antonio, did not expect it to be as crazy as it was when they came down and see how rabid the fan base really is.
Leo and I can vouch for what a difference 4 years can make, because 2019 was crazy. This past Thursday was insane.
Yeah. None of the events that we had leading up to the Commanders had anywhere near what we had on Thursday night. It's just going to be crazy. Which is, if any of you saw that video that Dirty jumped on and had me and Jay on, and we were kind of walking around and showing the atmosphere, and I was like, "You Battlehawks, you guys are in so much trouble because you got no idea what you're about to step into." You got no idea what you're about to step into on February 19th, because I mean, just from the atmosphere that we saw in the Commanders games to what we can expect now, knowing that the jump start this time around is that much further along than what it was the last time. And I can tell you exactly what Jorge is saying with as far as players. Back in the day, the Commanders, it was exact same with them. They were absolutely blown away by the fan response, and they fed off of that. And it's just going to happen all over again, but this time to an even bigger scale. And you're right. It could be that way in every single market if these markets kind of buckle down and start supporting these organizations the way they should.
And that's what I was getting at with St. Louis. Like, I really don't know how the players felt after, you guys had your fan festival, which the turnout looked amazing. But, I don't know if they expected that walking in, or, what their expectations were. I can speak on what the Brahmas were, that their expectations were, it seemed like they were pretty low to begin with. But so I think once the St. Louis is able to play at home, a lot of players, especially if they've never been to St. Louis, are in for a surprise. Now, the ones that I feel bad for, Vegas, I hope they have a good turnout. But with all the struggles that they've been having early on, I don't know.
Word is the tickets in Vegas are selling very, very well, and I'm really encouraged by that. But that's what I've been hearing.
All 12,000.
Good to hear.
All 12,000.
Who was the team that was
okay,
doing
Steve.
cups, that was
Okay.
making snake cups through the audience?
So
I think that was DC.
I have a question about Vegas. If the XFL is here for the long haul, do you expect maybe the XFL to kind of put some money into Cashman Field to actually convert that stadium?
No, I expect them to move to San Diego.
Yep.
I expect them to move to San Diego. If anything, San Diego is a football town that's wanting football back. Why have another team in Vegas? Arlington, why are you shaking your head?
A-Train, I'm going to back up what Steve is saying, just based on our experiences from the AAF with the San Diego fans.
With the fleet.
Yeah, with the fleet. That town is football starved, almost as bad as San Antonio is.
Yep.
So I don't.
And they
got
had the benefit of having NFL.
Yeah,
I'll say this
but
now.
Still,
I believe San Diego is going to get one. This is my speculation. I'm dirty. I'm doing a dirty here on this show today.
Oh, no.
Oh God.
They're doing it. They'll get an XFL team.
Don't do that.
They just won't move. Nobody's going to move. Vegas is going to work out. I'm telling you right now, the problem is Mark Davis do not want anybody inside that stadium other than UNLV.
Right.
That's the thing. And come on, man, this is Mark Davis we talking about. He messed around and bought the Aces. Nobody expected him to do that. He can do strange things. Stranger things can happen. I wouldn't mind seeing them put the XFL in Vegas over there in Allegiant Stadium. It's just going to take some time to do it. That's all it's going to be.
I mean,
Mark
Davis, he dangled the carrot in front of San Antonio too.
It's going to come down to the number Mark Davis wants.
Of course.
It's going to come down to Mark Davis wants, and I think that's the reason why they didn't go to Allegiant in the first place, is because Mark Davis wanted way too much money.
Truth.
I really don't like the Davis family because they've used San Antonio as a bargaining chip way too many times.
Mhm.
So I have
Yep.
a real chip on my shoulder with them specifically. So the fact that they're not showing the XFL any respect, like it's like, okay, like we're gonna be we'll be the scrappy little league that's gonna be taking, eyeballs off your product. Sure, okay. We're not trying to compete, but just wait till we punch you in the mouth.
So I got a question then. Was a longtime resident of Vegas, 15 years. So I was there for the original XFL. And I know the whole deal between the Raiders and Sam Boyd. What I don't know is, does UNLV still own Sam Boyd and it just
No.
sits
No. UNLV, basically that they're talking about tearing down Sam Boyd altogether.
Okay,
Nobody
so
has access to
now
that.
if, say, a league that's not the NFL, say like a soccer league, builds a stadium, could the XFL share that and still not have to worry about the Allegiant Stadium thing?
Well, they already
Isn't
have the Las
Caston
Vegas
Field being
lights.
used for soccer anyway?
Like I don't know where the Las Vegas
they
lights
have
play,
plans
but
to build an actual Major League Soccer stadium in Vegas. The
lights
city
playing
approved it.
The lights playing Cashman already.
yeah, they play in Cashman Field.
Yeah, but they're not Major
yeah.
League Soccer, right?
Yeah.
They're
No.
yeah.
No, they're
They're
not Major
women's
League.
soccer.
No.
But the thing
They
is
are
that
they are USL, and USL is like
there's the second tier. It's what San
Second
Antonio
tier.
has.
That's what San Antonio has done.
So Vegas approved a Major League Soccer stadium.
Oh
So,
God.
but here's the thing: Major League Soccer is not going to go to Las Vegas. Just like San Antonio approved a Major League Soccer stadium, which we have a half-built stadium that our team plays out of. And if you go to Toyota Field, you will see steel beams protruding from sections of the stadium because it was built with the intention of we are going to go to the MLS, because the MLS approached San Antonio until Austin completely fleeced us and stole the franchise opportunity from us. And the MLS has basically said, we're done for now as far as expansion goes. And if they do expand, it's going to probably either be Sacramento, but Las Vegas is on there, but I don't know that they're going to get an MLS team. I would say it's like, as far as MLS goes, it's probably going to be Sacramento's going to be the next. They're on top of the list, I think, as far as expansion. But I know San Antonio is out of the question. As long as Austin FC exists, they have already said San Antonio's not getting an NFL team or an MLS team. So I'll screw Austin.
You mean
You got to realize
Austin FC that lost to San Antonio?
Yep,
Yeah.
that Austin FC.
So
you got to realize this. The next
Arlington
team
had to pop out. I just had to say, he'll be back on another episode. He has some things, so Colin's going to take over for Arlington.
Oh yeah.
Houston, we have a problem. But the next team that's going to go, realize this. The next team that's going to end up in Vegas, I'm sorry to say, it's going to be the Oakland A's. They're going to build a baseball stadium in Vegas.
Probably.
Because it's like Oakland's losing everything. Nobody wants to build anything in Oakland.
Yeah. So we have two more rosters to kind of look at. And this next one is interesting because I got all these rosters from the official Twitter pages of the teams. This is the only team that kind of went all out on their roster. And you'll see as I bring it up here, like they did the whole colors and added the helmet. None of the other teams did this. It's interesting.
That's all they got going for them is their graphics department.
That's yeah.
Truth.
They got a top-notch
Agreed.
graphics department.
And their beer snake.
We all know
They've got a pretty nice.
Julian
They've got a pretty
is the
nice
standout.
facility too. But
For a soccer stadium.
yeah, that's about it.
They only got Eric Dungy.
I mean,
And Jordan.
their logo,
That's it.
their logo could use some help too.
So is there anybody besides the couple quarterbacks on this team, though, that we should kind of be looking at?
This thing, nobody really stands out.
Yeah, nobody really jumps off the page, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, right?
Right.
Any
We can
given
get someone out of
opportunity.
nowhere.
Yeah.
We could be looking at a list of
So,
51 hungry guys, and that are going to surprise us. But right now,
Yep.
nothing jumps off that page.
There could be a Tom Brady somewhere in one of these teams that we don't know about that is going to be a legend, in football. And, right now he's fighting for a spot on the XFL. We don't, that's the crazy thing about football is like, you just need that one catalyst. And,
well,
where's the next Kurt Warner, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly what I was going to say, Leo.
Some tells me though that those rosters are not 100%, 100 though.
Oh, they never are. Yeah.
Oh no, I think there's going to be tons of cuts
There's
and
going to be
people coming and going.
Stuff changes,
Fluid. Always going to be additions, subtractions.
Injuries.
Yeah, I think injuries. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go, Colin.
But I mean, soon in the season. I mean, early in the season. I can see changes still early in the season still happening.
Mm-hmm. And Houston's roster.
Does this roster look good? I love looking at this.
That's right.
You want to give us a breakdown of this roster, Colin?
Yeah, so there are actually a lot of surprises, like surprise cuts and trades that actually happened. Of course, our first pick of the draft, Adrian Killens, got traded to Arlington for Glenn Logan. So that was a surprise firsthand. But for the running backs, we're going to be looking at Max Borghi out of Washington State. He's going to, in my opinion, he's going to really show out in not only the running game, but also the passing game. Cedric Bird out of Hawaii, wide receiver. Possibly him and Cole McDonald had the Hawaii connection. That could be also really fun to watch. And on the defensive line, a guy who really stood out to me when I was looking over this roster, John Daka, number 45 out of James Madison. He put up great stats in college, and he's just a physical beast. So I'm expecting him to really show out in that Wade Phillips defense. But other than that, you got Will Likely from the Houston Gamblers. He did real well in the USFL. I really like him. Trying to think who else. I really like the team that they have here. And, of course, our three quarterbacks. I don't think we can go wrong with whoever starts.
I'll tell you one thing.
Where are your tight ends at?
Garrett Owens will be probably our only tight end, but the air raid offense we're going to be running doesn't utilize tight ends a lot, really.
I'll tell you one thing. There were a lot of people upset in San Antonio when Hunter Duplessis went off the board to the Houston Roughnecks. A lot of people were hoping that the Brahmas could keep the hometown kid, but Houston jumped on him first opportunity.
You got a good kicker.
Had. Yeah, so
you got a good kicker. Duplessis was a reliable beast for UTSA, and definitely a loss for the Brahmas.
So Amanda and Nicole, being females here, what has this league done to kind of attract a female audience, in your guys' opinion?
From a standpoint of apparently a football fan and a not so much football fan, high school football. I don't know. I guess there's like this transparency for rules and stuff. Like I can read the rules and I can see them play out and I kind of understand it better. Because I go to high school footballs and just cheer for my team because that's what I was supposed to do. So I didn't really know anything about it. I was just like, oh, okay. But I didn't know anything about the points. Like now I know stuff about it. Maybe that's, you telling me stuff that I'm like, what? But, I think but it's also like we want our kids to be involved. They've made it kid friendly too. So I kind of feel like it opened, they opened their arms to us by opening their arms to the kids.
Honestly, though,
for that. It's hard for me because I've loved football. Football's always been a passion.
Honestly, I think this is one area where the league has failed, not just with women, but in general, fan engagement. I think that there has not been any fan engagement other than what has organically come from the fans. And there's just been a big disconnect between the teams and the front office and the fan bases. And I think that that's something that needs to be rectified going into season 2, because you have to know the communities that you're in. You have to. And a lot of people that I've spoken to, especially, I mean, you guys, all of y'all know my gimmick by now.
It's not a gimmick, man. That's you.
Okay, well, a lot of people know the mariachi stuff by now, but like,
And that's not a gimmick.
so-
That's fan. That's how you
Like-
draw a fan base. That is
Yeah.
you.
Right.
yeah, but here's
So-
here's my concern though, is that a lot of people from the league that I've spoken with were asking me, like, is this something that would resonate in San Antonio? Like, do people understand what it is? And I'm like, how do you not know? Like, yes, like that's why I'm doing it. But like, yes, like that. This is a big part of San Antonio. Like this kind of look, this approach, and I just feel like there's a big disconnect between the league and the markets that they're in, and not really engaging with the community. And I think that that needs to be fixed going into next season, or worked on during the off season, so that people know the communities that they're in, and I mean, I get that they're all based in Arlington right now, so I'm sure that they're very familiar with the suburb of Dallas, the wonderful suburb of Arlington, Texas, which is I've got my thoughts on Arlington, on Dallas itself, but I just feel like there's a big disconnect between the fans and the league that needs to be rectified, and it needs to be rectified quickly, because that's how you get people, when the fans feel involved, that's how you get people to stick around and come back for season 2.
But I
Hold on.
think a lot of that
Hold on a
comes
second.
from,
I got to chime in here on
Steve then
this.
Jay.
I don't know.
Steve then Jay.
I got to chime in on this. Remember this. This is a 5-year plan that's starting. They could have thrown a ton of money on there and it could have gone flat. Let the process do what they need to do. If you've noticed in San Antonio, probably St. Louis, Houston, it organically grew. Keywords, organically grew. The fans will come. The fans will tell other fans. You're going to have your naysayers. But right now, the fans will have to bring out everything. Once the fans come out, the fans will bring the players into the community. And as long as the fans are bringing them into the community, that's all we need as of right now. What happens in season 2? First things first. Let's get through season 1 first. Because I don't want to have – we've had 2 back-to-back spring football years that got ended before a championship.
Yep. I'll chime in on that. Or go ahead, Jay. I'll go after you.
Yeah. Let me just throw this in. Being that we were talking about how the XFL is engaging with women, right? I think the XFL has a golden opportunity to take advantage of the situation. I don't see anything, but I have to believe that these are marketing executives that have way more experience with marketing than at least me anyways. And that's Danny Garcia, right? You have an owner that is a female that is fully engaged in football. We should be highlighting that and celebrating that, and the XFL anyways, should be using that as an opportunity to reach out to women and say, hey, this isn't just a boys club, right? This is family-friendly entertainment for everybody. Husbands, wives, kids, aunts, uncles, bring your whole posse out here, right? Engage.
And it's not just
something
Danny
for
that's
everybody.
up there too, right? There's other executives that are females here in the
XFL.
XFL.
There are plenty of females in the XFL that you don't find in the NFL anywhere hardly, right? They just made a big deal about the first NFL official that was a woman, 2 years ago? And then XFL comes back on the scene and has a female owner, like that should be blowing up, and that we should be telling our wives, our daughters, me specifically. I've got 3 daughters of my own. I'm using this as an opportunity to tell my kids, dream big. There's opportunities out there. You're going to probably have to work harder for things, but don't let your gender be your downfall. Don't let it be the roadblock in your dreams. Go after it, and that's what the XFL should be doing.
The director of marketing for the league that I spoke with on Thursday, she's female.
But
So,
you have to
like,
look at it from our standpoint too, as women. It's like, okay, we've had a lot of things happen this year where the misconception was, oh, so now we got to make them a girl. We're going to shove it down your throat that she's female. Now we're going to do. And so I think this is the opposite reaction. This reaction means that we can go in and say, well, damn it, Danny's name is on that football. And okay, we're invited. We're part of it. And it's not because we're getting it. It's not that they can come at it and say, oh, we're just going to make it a woman thing. No, we're going to make it a woman thing because we want to be there. Because we have people like RC and just people that open the floodgates, Amanda in St. Louis, like they're opening their arms and saying, this isn't just a men's, thing. And we're not just cooking, and we're not just, making sure everybody's fed at the freaking,
tailgate.
Word. Thank you. We're not just cooking. We're actually there rooting for the team and being part of it, and doing all that while we're wrangling our kids too. Because let's face it, if your kids don't love football already, they're going to have a hard time sitting at that game, and you're going to have to, it is a shorter game, so that helps a little bit. But like it's coming. But you got to look at it from a standpoint of maybe Danny doesn't want it to be now we're just going to have it. It should be, this is fun for everybody because it's something we all enjoy, not, well, this is for the women and this is for the men and it's just for everybody. Let's just go out and have a damn good time and, celebrate because we love our city. We love our team. We love, our coaches, whatever. Like, I mean, Hines Ward said that he wants to be part of the community, that he is interested in understanding the things. So in knowing that, like, it takes time. You don't just plop down in a city and automatically know. Like, we're going to move in July and we're not going to know anything. I mean, we have a little bit of an understanding of that.
This is all you need to know.
Area. Can I say something really quick, Leo? Because I know you have to go.
Yeah.
But can I just say really quick, and I'm not gonna get personal, but I'm gonna be real right now. The reason I'm doing this is because my son is autistic. Okay, it's my outlet. Number 2, he's had 15 hospital admissions in the last year and a half. Okay. He's had a major surgery that's life-changing. He has a feeding tube. He has things that have altered his entire life. This is something I do for me. So when I ask for little things, okay, such as having a player on the show, I'm not asking a lot.
Yeah.
Not. So do it. Sorry. Not asking a lot. That's all I gotta say.
I'm with
No.
I'm with you on
you
that.
100%.
Because what we do is what helps the players. Because ultimately, in the end, the players are just like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They rise and shine. They brush their teeth. They go to the bathroom just like you and me. Okay? They're the same people. They praise the good man above just like you and me. So there's no reason why any treatment should be different because of anything that I'm doing and that they're doing. Sorry. We all have our struggles in life, but what we do is to help benefit them. And we love doing what we do. So allow us to do what we do to help better them because we want to.
Yeah,
And
all of
want
this
to.
is projects of passion and fandom and love. I mean, raise your hand if you're getting paid for doing what you're doing. You know, if this is for a paycheck, raise your hand.
Oh,
never mind.
No.
My hands are behind my back, people.
Look, I am trying my hardest to be able to show them like how to engage with the community via social media, via personal appearances, and they finally started to pick up on that and are using that, which, you know, to Amanda's point, this is my passion project. I have, you know, I'm trying to run my own business. I'm a foster parent, and I'm about to have another foster child in my home here in the next couple months, and so I'm going to have my hands pretty full. And my son, you know, was a foster child that has since been adopted by me and my wife. And I want to show him that, you know, you can't, like, if you put in the work, you know, you can make your dreams come true. Because where I come from, so where I'm from originally, where I grew up is the Rio Grande Valley, which is about 4 hours south of San Antonio. It's a place that loves football, but it's a place that's known. It's heavily Hispanic influence because right on the border. It's about 96% Hispanic population. The other 4% is miscellaneous. And we are disrespected throughout the state of Texas when it comes to football. And I mean, we're a joke, to be honest. We're a joke. And people say, you know, this from high school football, we get to San Antonio and we lose. And that week that teams from my home region play is known as Valley Week, but they spell it WEAK because it's such an easy win for San Antonio. And I am doing this to show not only people from the Valley, but just people who don't see Hispanic representation in football, that you can be a part of it too. Like, it doesn't matter. And show my son also, like, look what daddy's doing. Because my son, like, full disclosure, before he was an Amber Alert baby. Like, there was an Amber Alert out for him at one point in his life, because he was kidnapped. And I want to show him, like, you went from being on a, you know, Amber Alert, and now look what your daddy's doing. Look what he was able to do. And I want to show him for his future, you can do it too, no matter where you come from. And so I don't care that I'm not getting paid for this. I hope I do get paid for it someday. Like, I would love to. I would love to be able to say I work for the Brahmas on an official capacity. But if I don't ever get $1 for what I do, I'm having a damn good time doing it. And that's because, like, I've put actual client work that pays me to the side to work on this because this is such a passion of mine. And may not be the best business decision for me, but, you know,
your name's out there.
It's what you love.
Wait,
Organically, hold on. I think
Leo's got
organically.
it.
Oh, he's got to leave.
Hey, Leo, go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you.
Plug it.
Yeah, I'm part of the Smoke and Guns podcast. We cover professional football in San Antonio Brahmas, San Antonio Gunslingers. We're proud to be part of this journey for the Brahmas, and you can find us on Facebook. Anywhere that podcasts are played, we're out there. Smoking, no G, Guns with a Z, POD. And we're happy to be part of a network with you guys and talking about and supporting this whole XFL. What is it, 3.0 now?
3.0.
Yeah,
3.0.
and we're excited to have in San Antonio. We're looking forward to the Battlehawks coming down here on Sunday, and then the games on Saturday. I know I can't wait. There's some sort of game happening tomorrow, I think, but yeah, I'm not too.
That is the first time I ever want the Super Bowl to be done.
Whatever. Yeah. I'm waiting for next weekend.
Shout out to RC.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's a member of our show, the Smoking Guns podcast. Thanks again for having me on. I've got a prior, I've got an appointment I've got to make it to. But you guys take care.
We'll see you next week.
Going forward, Leo. Much trouble.
See you, Leo.
So So remember Monday. Yes, look for Monday. Everyone talks about where's the advertisement? From what I was told, Monday, all local advertisement in all 8 cities is going to be bombarded with XFL.
Good.
All the ESPN and ABC are going to be bombarded with XFL because they don't even want to go against the Super Bowl. That's why you just saw blitz. So it's like they're going to everything just starts to, the mushroom cloud begins to open up as soon as the Super Bowl is over.
Can't wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Brian and Nicole, I think this might be a good time to segue into something that you guys and I were talking about kind of offline. Had a very interesting experience this week, and I'll go into details in a little bit. But it led me to the question. We're all kind of sitting around, with our Brahmas hats on, or, our roughneck stuff, or our battle chickens or whatever. Kidding, right?
Battlehawks, give them credit.
Excuse me.
Full on Battlehawks. And Amanda, side note, my wife is actually from St. Louis. So
oh God,
I'm hearing
there's
that
my
accent,
ugly
and I'm
face.
just like,
dirty.
I'm just like, I know that. Hey, who let this riffraff in?
No,
but
hold on. I just got to say something. Something real quick. I can't stay very long, but I have to say this. I have been watching the show and all that stuff, right? Here's what I want to say, what's different with the XFL and the XFL community as a whole. I want you guys to all look at each other on these screens right now, right? That means right now, everybody look at each other, right?
Well, put the cigarette in your mouth while you're saying it.
The only guy that actually listened is Captain Brahma. All the rest of you, see, that's why none of you guys are that bright. Even my own co-host up there, Amanda, isn't that bright because of her blonde hair.
I listened.
But anyways, back to what I was saying. This XFL community, what makes this community so much different is look at all the nationalities. Look at all of the people that are on here. Look at all the races and the creeds and how it's brought everybody together as a community and as a whole. Mm-hmm. In these day and age where everything is just so messed up, there's one thing that we can all agree on is that we want spring football. We want it to succeed. And we're all in this as diehard fans and faithfuls to do this and to get it done. That's really all I got to say. Other than that, the Brahmas are going down on Sunday. That's all I got to say about that. Colin, what are you laughing about? Because we're going to go down to Houston and smack you guys around too. I don't even know why you're laughing, Colin. I don't even know why you're laughing.
That ain't happening.
So I don't even know why Amanda's up there doing what she's doing. So other than that, I love each and every one of you. I gotta go clean out more plus stuff at the house. So I'll talk to you guys all later.
See you, Dirty.
All right, see you, Dirty.
No,
finally,
let's
get rid of the caca. Okay, finally, let's get rid of that.
Okay,
like
let's go back. Let's go back to the question. Let's go back to the question that I was going to ask real quick. We're talking about our passion and how much we love this, right? I'll tell you guys what inspired this question, but I want to ask all of you here individually, how hard do you guys fan? And what I mean by that is like how far, how in depth, how far are you willing to go to represent your team? Obviously, Captain Brahma being here is a great example. But let's talk about that. Like how far do you guys go to represent your team, to show your team pride and team spirit? Brian, Nicole, you guys want to start first?
I have a sticker on my water bottle, but other than that, I have to be kind of low key because I'm not really supposed to tell anybody yet. Like I have to tell my principal first.
Okay.
But I think like Brian is kind of the one that always kind of gets involved and then kind of like blasts it out to the rest of the house. I hate to say, but like I have a lot of other engagements right now so that we can move this summer. So, paying stuff off and being at work and trying to get, crap done just means that I listen to whatever he says while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, but I'm watching the social media stuff and I'm watching whatever he puts on about the XFL and I'm listening to Hines Ward and I'm following social media. So, I mean, while I'm not,
You do want like shirts,
I want gear and stuff. Like I'm eyeing that shirt over there. I don't know, whatever way that Jorge's been on. But like you kind of have to fan in your own way. And I think that that's kind of what the XFL has given us is like, if women wanted to get involved, then we kind of had to get our group together and say, hey, you know, let's go do this together. Even if we're not with our husbands, even if we're not with our kids, like it gives us an outlet to hang out with like-minded individuals. And I think that's the grand scheme of things. Like, I think if something brings you together, then you fan in your own way. Like, I don't know if I want to tailgate for 4 hours with my children. Like, I love them, but I might eat them. And
there you go.
You know, it just is what it is. But if I wanted to, you know, if we were a part of a group and they had a bunch of friends that they could go and, you know, play with at the tailgate, then it's a whole thing. It's a whole community then. And they're starting out. Like, how do you start a league and just thrust that into it without it being organic? Like, I think that has to come from the people. And I think that that's why, like, Jorge, I watched your video today about the Greedo, and I was like, you have to start listening to people that it's important to. You mentioned cultural appropriation, and I was so like kind of enthralled by that because we get so much flack being, you know, white, because I'm not technically white, but white. And, you know, like, we're just trying to take it from somebody. I'm like, no, we're trying to enjoy it because we enjoy learning and hearing and being immersed in culture. Like, why would you move to San Antonio if you didn't? Because it is so immersive. The health of that community is living large there. Like, it's beautiful. And I think if we don't enjoy it and be part of it and hold fast to whatever the battle cry is, no matter how badly we might do it, you know, we want to be part of it. So by being part of it means that this is what we started and this is what we're trying to figure out how to do better. And I think that that's for the XFL too. They got to figure out what to do better. I mean, we don't get excited about stuff if it doesn't come from us. Like, you can shove it down our throats, but if we don't love it, we don't love it. You know?
Right. Amanda, why don't you tell us about how hard you fan?
Well, this. And then just, I research like all the time. I would love to do Women of the XFL like podcast eventually. So Nicole, you'll be hearing from me. And RC. And I were talking about that. I research like constantly, but I watch football all the time. Like I said, football is my life. It's forever changing. You know, rules, you know, with NFL and the rules of the XFL, have slightly changed a little bit this year. So it's not to say next year they won't change even a little bit then too. Things are always evolving and changing. So, and like with the roster changing, you know, those kinds of things. So I just love it. I feel like I fan it because I love it.
Excellent. Jorge, you want to go next?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you guys have obviously seen my videos and my content, and you know how hard I've been trying to get something going. There's a lot of people that have told me that they would not have known of the XFL's presence in San Antonio had it not been for me pushing it as hard as I can. And I've been pushing this.
Great job. Keep doing it.
Thank you.
As much as I razz you.
I appreciate that because like I go back to a video that I made September 15th of last year, right when the NFL was kicking off. And I'm a diehard Packer fan, and I have been since I was 6 years old.
Okay, now I don't like you. I don't like
you. Now,
go Pack, go,
baby.
I'm a Viking fan. Now I don't like you.
Oh God, no!
Wow.
No, really, not. We just cannot get along, her and I. Like,
you did for like 2 seconds. You had 2 seconds.
You had 2 seconds. Now you're out.
So
that's right. She's got plenty of room in her trophy case for some of ours.
my like, I'll be honest, my dream when I was growing up as a kid was I wanted to play offensive line for the Packers and protect Brett Favre with my life. That was my dream. And I mean, obviously that didn't happen, but I've always been very passionate. When I get into something, I go 100%. And so with this whole mariachi suit and getting involved with the news station, and I'm getting some custom shoes made by the guy who made some custom shoes for The Rock's daughter, who's now in NXT. So I'm getting some custom Brahma shoes made that will be debuted at a watch party.
Yeah, he makes more stuff in wrestling too? I follow him. Right?
Yes, yeah, he does do other wrestlers as well.
I think he did some stuff for Thunder Rosa, who lives in San Antonio.
Yeah. He's worked with Thunder Rosa. He's worked with Ava Rain. I think he worked with Roxanne Pettis. So yeah, like he's a busy man, and he reached out to me saying, "I want to do this for you for the Brahmas." Because it's a local thing. So nice. I'm getting those made. I've got the whole suit. I've got the whole persona. I've got people reaching out to me that they want to do stuff with me, like to the point where the Brahmas want me on the field regularly. And so I also I have people from Oklahoma that want to come down and watch they want to come down to a game. I've gotten people from Arlington that say, "Hey, come up and watch our game with us when the Brahmas play." I've got people from Austin that are coming down to watch the Brahmas play. I've got people from the Valley that want to come watch the Brahmas play. So I'm pulling in people from all over the state of Texas, because that's essentially what my platform on TikTok is for the entire state of Texas. And I'm pulling them into San Antonio, specifically surrounding the Brahmas, because they see how excited that I've been getting about it and how long I've been talking about it, that they are interested and curious. I don't know if it's because I'm saying I'm giving them free tacos at the tailgate, because I will, but like that might be a part of it. But
and when I come, you're gonna wear the wings when we win.
He's gonna eat wings
on the field, right?
And if you don't win, we're gonna barbecue them.
No.
Here's the thing, though.
Can I show this video? Because we were talking about making dreams come true, and the last time Jorge was on here, he talked about 3 people he wanted to make this dream come true, and one of those have been checked off. So I want to show this video here.
Show the entire world and the XFL how loud we're gonna get in the Alamo Dome. So let me hear on the count of 3. Let's hear your best grito, because this is going to be our battle cry. 1, 2, 3. Eso, San Antonio!
And I can tell you, Coach Ward is all about it. He loves it. And with the other 2 people that I am targeting are Danny Garcia and The Rock. I've already spoken to the league about getting them to do that with me, and they have told me that it's not out of the realm of possibilities. They can't guarantee it. They can't say oh yeah, for sure, no, we're going to make it happen. But they did say it's not something that we're going to say it's impossible. It is very possible.
How do you say it's going to happen without saying it's going to happen, right?
well, no, that's the thing is I wish I could even say that, but when I've asked where are they going to be? When are they going to come to San Antonio? I know they're going to come. Everyone keeps telling me the same thing. We can't confirm or deny where they're going to be that day. I'm pretty sure they know, then they're just keeping it hush hush. But and the same thing, with the news station, I tried getting information out of them to not even we know. They go, but, they did move me to the VIP section where I am going to be doing the on-field stuff for this home opener against the Battlehawks. And they did say, if there is going to be a game that he is going to be at, chances are high that it will be this one.
The first one.
If he is there, he is going to want to be in the VIP section. So,
if
he goes, you will most likely be in the area where he and Danny Garcia will be if he goes.
Nice.
But they did tell me, like, this is pure speculation, and we do not know if he is going to be there or if they are going to be there or not. Now, if I can make it happen, if I can get, and I told the league this too, I said, if you get me both of them, but at a minimum, just The Rock, this will blow up in ways that you cannot imagine. That will just come, like, you will get not just San Antonio, you will get all of Texas, you will get the country's eyes on it. Like, it's going to be something that you see The Rock doing a grito next to a guy dressed like a mariachi in San Antonio. Like, that's something that Sports Center is going to want to cover, you know, and it's going to go viral on his social media. And I said, you're not only going to get Texas, you're going to get into northern Mexico as well in ways that the NFL has not been able to do.
They'll be yelling cacaw.
Yeah, you know, he's got to do the grito, but he's got to be holding his tequila too.
They're gonna be yelling cacaw.
Truth.
They're gonna be yelling cacaw when you be
Jorge, I think we need to bring a plunger to the first game. You know, you need some plungers on hand.
Nice.
They're gonna you're gonna be yelling cacaw with them wings on.
But see,
no, honey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, honey, that ain't happening.
Okay.
Hey, just think about this. Just think about this. Look what the first 3 televised games are going to be. All in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
The first 3 televised games are all in Texas. Saturday afternoon in Dallas, Saturday night in Houston, Sunday afternoon in San Antonio. If he's coming, he'll hop a flight. He'll stay for a half, hop a flight, stay for a half.
Yeah.
Go home, go to San Antonio, get a good night's sleep, come party like it's like no ever. And then, after he spends a half year, fly to DC. It's my opinion. He'll be here because he needs to represent. He needs to show his league to the markets.
This is what would be the gateway. And going back to Jay's point, like, this is how hard I want a fan, is that if I can bust down the door and spread the league into markets that the NFL has struggled to kick down the doors of by doing one video post because there's one guy who has reach in Mexico. Yes, there is a very real possibility that people from Mexico will start to watch the XFL and someone's going to be like, I like that sword with the wings. I'm going to go for that team. And yeah, there might be some cacas with some Spanish accents on there. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but that's what I told them, is like, I just need one video with him and you will blow this thing up, like, in ways that you cannot imagine.
Right. Yeah,
so that's how hard I want to be.
That reminds me of The Legend of Zelda. I want to, woo.
So
you got to realize, look what the XFL has done in the last. When the XFL was here in 2020, what was the XFL known for? Good play, but DC. What was DC known for? Their fans and the beer snake.
Yeah.
In Seattle. Seattle, it was everybody that dressed in green. It was like, what the hell? DC, not DC. In Arlington, the guys couldn't do body paint to save their lives, but they made themselves known. I was like, the best thing the XFL did was get out of the major cities. They got out of New York. They got out of Los Angeles. Thank God. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They got out of the major cities. So like, okay. With the AAF, when we had the AAF here, it took one hit.
Yeah, that one hit changed everything.
One hit basically changed because the NFL players saw that hit. And they basically was like, oh, they can hit like that. I was like, all it takes is just it's going to be a groundswell. Jorge, I know if you get Dwayne or Danny doing that grito, this is going to explode. It's going to be a social media sensation. but we got to build. But remember, the league still has to build on it, and the way you build on it is what you do on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because remember, for those who are historians, the original XFL blew up in week 1 and then fizzled.
Yep.
The last two spring leagues we had.
I wanted to hear Colin about how he fans.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, clear. I'm wearing it today, actually. So I made my own little Roughnecks gear, and then on the back, I have and whatnot.
Nice.
So I was able to have them repost it on like their Twitter and Instagram and stuff. But as a freshman in college, I am clearly a lot younger than a lot of the fans of the league now. So I feel like it is my duty to just share the league with other people my age. So, of course, I lived up in Chicago for 13 years. I lived up in Chicago in 2020 when the XFL was going on, but I'm a Houston guy. I've always followed my Houston teams. But, up there, I would tell my friends and tell my peers about this league, and they'd say, oh, isn't the XFL just that minor league? The minor league for football, right? And I'm like, no, there's so much passion in it. There's so much just culture in it. Talking about San Antonio during for this rendition of the XFL, I'm not a San Antonio fan, but I still love it. I respect it. Seeing what St. Louis did in 2020, that's great. That pro football was back in St. Louis, but even how I fan now, besides my mom making my little costume for me over winter break. On Friday nights, my dorm mates and while my friends are out partying, getting wasted at parties, I'm going downtown Houston and I'm meeting with members of the Roughnecks. I'm getting my name out there. Because again, I'm a journalism major, so I want to connect with these people, because it's my passion. I truly do love not only the Roughnecks, but just the league as a whole, because, at the end of the day, yes, it's a football league, but it also represents to me more than that. I know I've been told so many times in my life, and Brian, I've told you this so many times in my life going down journalism and broadcasting, I've had people way older than me, instead of supporting me, I get, you're not going to make any money in that field, or, that's not going to do anything. You need to go down business. You need to go down finance. That's where the money and job security is. So for me, this league represents opportunity, a second chance. So I see myself also in this league and in the players, because it's, these players are showing that they still have a lot left in them and don't count them out. So I respect that. And I do see myself in this league a lot. And two, just the fans, the fact that I'm even just in this podcast with all of y'all, if it wasn't for the XFL, I wouldn't have met any of y'all at all, so it's allowing me to expand more, and it's really a blessing.
And we met you.
Absolutely.
Hey, vote for that guy. Seriously,
It's a pleasure,
man.
Colin.
That was an awesome speech.
Appreciate that.
So, I want to go to Steve last, just because I know his history, and I definitely want him to talk about his fandom. And it has a very unique, special place in the history of this city. Captain Brahma, why don't you talk to us about how hard you fan?
Oh man, just take a look at it right here. This is $100 shield that I painted, so that it would represent the Brahmas. My Captain America outfit I had for Halloween last year, and I was like, well, I can do something with that now. And I just painted it completely Brahma colors, and now, I became Captain Brahma thanks to Jorge up there with his passion, and just kind of made me realize, hey, I'm that kind of guy too, just whiter. That's all, But
you also have something that you're working on in the background too.
Oh, yes, I am. That's true. I know what you're talking about. Brian has been very supportive of what I'm trying to do. I've been writing a song for the San Antonio Brahmas. It's called Stand Up. Everybody that has gotten a taste of it thinks that it needs to be the song that comes out when they're coming out of the tunnel and everything. So I've gotten a guitarist from my latest band, and then my band from previous to all band together, no pun intended, and put this out there for you guys. We can get it as soon as we can. We're supposed to be going into the studio beginning of March to get this recorded and hopefully out there before the end of the season. And it just would be a dream come true to hear, my voice in the Alamo Dome as the Brahmas are coming out through the tunnel and everybody just, standing up pretty much. So I've been diehard for all my teams. San Antonio Spurs, I've always dressed up for that. I used to go as Spurs Legacy, which was a Tron kind of base thing. I have a Tron jacket that I, Spursed out and everything. And just, I love taking some kind of, whether it's comic book or some kind of big thing that people like can relate to and turning it into something that has to represent one of my teams, either the Spurs, Brahmas. Everybody's been talking about their football team. I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. Sorry, guys. They just in '95, that was the only team that I hadn't been a part of. I've been shopping around on teams and everything, and I was just like, oh, I like their colors. Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of cats, so why not? So I've actually been down since day one with Carolina, and everybody's like, oh, you just like them because of Steve Smith and Cam Newton, and I was like, no, I know the players before those guys. So, but having San Antonio with a football team is awesome because this is where we live. This is where we're passionate about our sports teams, and the Brahmas are just something. I mean, I was a huge fan of The Rock growing up, of course. Who wasn't? And to represent the team that pretty much has his staple on it, the Brahma Bull. It's just a dream come true right there. I know Jorge, George, whatever you want to call it. I call him George because I'm a Caucasian. So George up there, he definitely has been running with this whole thing, and it gets you more excited about it. So if I can be a part of that, and like he said, money involved, that's great. If there's no money involved, hey, I love doing this thing. I'm going to do it regardless. And, whether that lady up there, Amanda, wants to bring her wings down here and fly them around and have people watch her, that's up to her. She can do that, and everybody's going to have a good time. And, Brahmas are going to win, and she can go back with her wings and put them up on the wall and say, hey, I tried.
Okay. So this is a great segue into that ultimate fandom that you're talking about. Steve, why don't you talk to us about how hard you fan? Because man, do you fan hard, boy.
Well, let's put it this way. If you can see this,
yep,
San Antonio Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
The talents.
San Antonio.
Wow. Where is it? It's there somewhere. There it is.
Well, my pride and joy started back in '94.
Wow.
The iguanas. Wow.
Yes.
I am Captain Cool. I was picked out by an intern in '96. No, in '95. Some guy comes up to me in a suit, had to be about maybe Colin's age, asked me if I wanted to get the fans going. Sure. The next words out of his mouth is, we can't pay you. I'm like, okay. Captain Cool became a gig that I did for 7 of the 8 years. The last 7 years we had the iguanas here. I ended up in blue spandex with this big flag on a pole running around Freeman Coliseum after every goal. That's more than a quarter mile. A lap up there is more than a quarter mile. My fandom has been going on for over 30 years. Great. Jorge is taking. I'm passing the torch to Jorge because it's like his mariachi outfit does my Captain Cool outfit any day of the week. But I will be there in my camouflage, my yellow and black camouflage, just like I did with the Commanders, face paint and all, front row end zone, cheering loud. And yes, there is a Browns flag on the way.
Nice. Nice. Okay. So here's the inspiration for this whole question. So in the spirit of trying to support my team, I bought myself some Under Armour, neon yellow and black shoes to support my team. And then I realized that the neon didn't really go so well with our yellow, of our yellow and gray, right? So I started shopping for more shoes. And that turned into 3.5 days of wasted time looking for the right shoes. And 2 more pairs of shoes, I finally found them, right? Because you got to have your gear together. You got to have your stuff together to be a fan. Me being a diehard Packer fan, same with Jorge. I was born in Milwaukee, grew up down here, but ever since I could love football, I loved the Packers. So we're talking 85, 86, I became a Packers fan when we were the worst. We were worse than the Vikings, okay?
That's low.
I think we went 1-15 in 86. It was bad. It was so bad. But
that was the year of the Lions, so I guess we were better than somebody.
But
hey, Steve looks like he's over there doing laundry right now.
Yeah. That's that passion that we're talking about, though, right, guys? Yeah. Like, it's something that you connect with. It's something that becomes part of your identity. What's going to be different here, though, is that while we have our own individual identities within our team, we're still going to be connected with the other teams in the league, and we're all going to be pulling for each other's success, right? That's what it's going to mean to fan in this league.
Except Arlington.
So, Brian, thank you for do what? Except for Arlington? Yeah. Well, somebody's got to lose all the games. So
you mean Dallas? Are we talking about Dallas?
We're talking about
Dallas
Arlington.
North.
They don't even get
what's the difference? Aren't they just like a few miles away from each other? You just like step over the line. Hey, I'm in Arlington. Hey, I'm in Dallas. Hey, I'm in Arlington. Hey, I'm in Dallas.
So, Amanda,
pretty much.
If you think I've been ripping on you guys hard in St. Louis, just wait till I get my hands on Dallas, because my whole before, not even including XFL.
I don't pay no attention to you.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now.
I don't think he's paid attention to anybody.
I have been nice to St. Louis.
I pay attention, but I don't.
When it comes time for San Antonio to get to Dallas, oh, man. I've had multiple videos go viral because of my hatred of the city of Dallas.
Wow.
And so
is it because of the Mavericks or the Cowboys? Is it the Mavericks or the Cowboys?
No, well, I don't like. I have not even sports teams, just the city and the people.
Oh, okay.
I have a bone to pick with the city.
So
of
the
Dallas.
driving's horrible. Is that what you're saying?
The driving, the attitude, the lack of culture, the we're better than everybody else. Like, so people in Dallas, are known to have their noses up in the air and look down at the rest of Texas and think that the border with Mexico is the Riverwalk in San Antonio. And they don't, and like where I'm from, like the Rio Grande Valley, they're like, is that in California? I'm like, you idiots, that's in your own state. So it started with that. But the Viva Texas brand, the brand that I've built, it's very well known by my audience that I do not care for the city of Dallas. And
so
even though
Dallas
it's Arlington
podcast, Viva Texas wants to be on your podcast.
Yeah,
so reach out to him, and he'd be happy to be on your podcast.
So, the Renegades, I mean, even though they're Arlington and their logo looks like a D, because clearly it was like, well, we're only Arlington because Dallas, didn't want us. It's yeah. So I'm gonna be very
good one, Shane.
very aggressive towards Dallas.
Colin, I gotta ask one question. I know about San Antonio's hatred towards Dallas, except for the Cowboys. How much is Houston's hatred towards Dallas?
Oh, it is off the charts. Yeah,
is
we
next
do
level.
not like
That is
Dallas.
next level.
Do not like Dallas.
So I guess
And
you're not going to go to Dallas anytime.
It's like it goes back, and it goes back to not even the Cowboys and Oilers. I think it's the Rockets and the Mavericks have been more hatred than anything else.
Oh yeah, the Mavericks and of course the Cowboys. But if you're not a Cowboys fan, you hate the Cowboys. So I guess that's a given.
But we got too much of that in San Antonio. We got way too many Cowboys fans here in San Antonio. You know, hopefully the Browns will be something to like separate that.
Gary has tried to buy everything here in San Antonio to keep the money flowing into his pockets. It's like the main reason why we don't have an NFL team is because Jerry doesn't want to lose his San Antonio dollar.
That's a whole can of worms that we could probably open up a whole different show on.
Yeah.
So
don't feel bad, Amanda. I'm nice to you, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
You are nice.
Amanda, the only thing I want to see is an lineman in St. Louis trade a football for a box of Girl Scout cookies.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the most classic scenes I ever saw in a football game. Was when one of the St. Louis linemen literally traded an XFL football for a box of Thin Mints.
Yep. I did see that. You know what? And I will try my best to try to figure that out.
You're gonna put on a Girl Scout uniform? Is that what you're saying?
I'll do everything I gotta do to figure that out.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'm not kidding. You know me with challenges. Don't play me. Viva,
That's
you
awesome.
know how I am with challenges.
Oh yeah,
she'll
do it.
Amanda in the Girl Scout is going to be a challenge. It's not going to be a challenge. It's going to be like must-see TV.
I'll get my little Girl Scout. I'll get the green skirt. Don't play me. With the
No, you got to go in your
with
team's
my
colors.
badges
No,
on it, with my
you got to
green
paint it.
hat.
Yeah,
I'll
wouldn't
get
it need to be blue?
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
color they are now. I
No,
don't
Girl
know.
Scouts are
colors
green.
already.
Hats are
The
blue.
Bluebirds. There'll be a Bluebird.
There you go.
Well, that's
The
fine. I
Bluebird.
don't care. I'm just saying Girl Scout color. That's what I'm talking
So I wanted to give Jorge this moment because he is talking about reaching out to a culture that's not being represented in at least like American football. So this time, if you can do something in Spanish, because I look at my the facts of my show and I do see that there are some people that watch from Mexico. So go ahead and explain the XFL and why they should be watching the XFL.
Okay. And in Spanish?
In Spanish.
Okay.
Sí.
Saludos a todos mis amigos de México que están viendo, todos los hispanohablantes que están viendo este podcast. Para los que no saben, la XFL es la nueva liga que empezó el Rock. Es el Rock, que es el actor de Hollywood y el luchador. Y tenemos varios equipos. Claro, obviamente yo soy de San Antonio, mi equipo, obviamente tenemos equipo en San Antonio. Y les queremos decir que a todos ustedes que son de México, que quieren venir a ver un partido, están bienvenidos y no nos importa qué idioma hablan. Si hablan español, portugués, y quieren hablar inglés quebrado, lo que sea, porque yo soy de Coahuila y les invito personalmente que vengan a San Antonio a compartir un partido con nosotros. Y si vienen y me dicen, oye compa, soy de México, ahí les tengo unos tacos, nomás me dices si los quieres de bistec o de pastor y les invito a mi casa.
That's awesome.
Anything else you want me to say?
That was good.
Bueno.
Oh,
That was good.
That was great.
I didn't understand one word, but boy, that was good.
I grew up in San Diego, so right next to Tijuana. So like I'm very familiar with, you know, the whole Mexican culture and all that. Plus living 15 years in Vegas, which is the culture there, very similar, high Hispanic in Vegas. So San Antonio, I'll feel right at home. So I kind of knew what he was saying. Not maybe word for word, but
Nicole.
So I'll translate for everyone else, because I always translate. Anytime I speak in Spanish, I'll translate it to English so that everyone feels included. So basically what I said is hello to everybody from Mexico who is watching. To give you just a brief explanation on what the XFL is, it's a new football league that has been started by The Rock. Yes, that Rock from Hollywood, who was also a wrestler. We have teams in multiple cities. Obviously, I am in San Antonio, and that's when I did this, showed them. And I said, I invite you to my house in San Antonio, the Alamo Dome. I didn't say the Alamo Dome, but and I said, if you come find me at a tailgate and say, hey, I'm from Mexico, I have a plate of tacos waiting for you, and just tell me whether you want them from bistec or pastor, which is either beef or pork. And you're welcome anytime, regardless of the language that you speak.
What about guacamole? You make good guacamole?
My wife can make a head killer guacamole.
Amanda said she didn't understand a word, but he did say podcast, so you still got that one. There you go.
Oh, I like your wife. Will she make me some guacamole?
Yeah, I know.
If you
we
y'all
have
would
a
have
lot
gone
of
down,
food
you'd have met
waiting
her.
for us when we move to San Antonio.
That's Brian's other favorite pastime is to look up food in San Antonio and send it to me. I'm like,
nice.
What are you
I'm
doing?
just telling you, look, anyone from out of state who moves to Texas, especially San Antonio or South, just be ready. You're going to gain about 15 to 20 pounds. Accept it, and you will find a way to lose it later, but you will gain weight when you move here.
Okay, so I'm going to have to find a bariatric doctor, huh? Because I'm not going to be able to gain 15 pounds.
Don't worry. Hey,
but I ain't moving.
If you need one, I got one because I had that problem. So I got you covered.
Okay.
Guys, I got a jet.
All right. So,
Likewise.
Steve, where can people find you?
I'm not a podcaster. I'm one of the
Well, you're a moderator of a group.
I am a moderator on the XFL fan group. The XFL group that I am, the San Antonio Brahmas fan page on Facebook. I am one of the moderators there. San Antonio Brahmas XFL fans. Most people will find me there for anything for the Brahmas. I'm also, basically you'll find me there for the XFL more than anything else because that's basically the only page I'm usually on.
If you walk around long enough in San Antonio, you'll find him because he's the only guy wearing a yellow bucket hat.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Truth.
Yeah, I gotta dip out too, guys. Sorry.
So do
You'll
I.
find me on the X Fan Show, and B-Hawk Live, and we have a show on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock.
Nice. Well, I appreciate everyone coming on. Colin, where can people find you? I know you have something new coming up here soon.
Yeah, for sure. So right now it's the Roughnecks Analyst podcast on YouTube. It's my YouTube video podcast, but I am teaming up with Arlington, aka A-Train, and we're going to switch it over to the Rough Him Up podcast. So he's going to be on there, but it's going to be the same general stuff. The only Roughnecks podcast on YouTube. We have highlights, news, analysis, all that good stuff. And of course, on my Twitter and Instagram, Cullen_Watkins.
You already have a newscaster's voice. I love it.
Thank you.
Nice.
He's gold. That's all I say. This guy is like going places, and what are you, 21?
I'm 19.
19. See, he's already going places.
Right. And then, of course, Captain Brahma, we can find you doing karaoke, right? Places.
Oh, yeah. I haven't done so much lately. I've been so busy and everything, but no, my band, the Steel Soldiers, you can check us out if you want. No, it doesn't have to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers, no. So, but I know a lot of Steelers fans will be like, hey, that's because of, that's why, okay. So, look for Stand Up. It'll be coming out hopefully before the end of the season if, we can make it happen. We got some other cool stuff on there. The Starburn Chronicles Volume 1. You can check it out on YouTube. Just type in The Steel Soldiers, and it should come up. It's a big flaming sun logo. There's a lot of cool songs on there you might enjoy, get you guys kind of familiar with what I do. Yes, I am the vocalist. That is my voice.
We lost it.
Dirty Bros.
So, Jay,
Hey, Amanda's back. We got Amanda back.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Everybody's back. So Jay, I know that you're going to be doing a lot of XFL stuff for us this season.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah, and we we called it the XFL
Hot route.
Hot route. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm definitely going to be helping you guys out here on Reels and Heels, covering a lot of XFL information. We decided to go with the hot route because there's a lot of podcasts that are going to be out there, right? A lot of people talking about a lot of different things. So we wanted to be that alternate option, just like the hot route is, right? You've got your two main receivers that are going to be covered. Well, maybe you can't find those podcasts, or maybe they're, not quite covering all the stuff that you want to talk about. You got, your running back that's open right here. There's your hot route. Boom. Right. That's going to be us. So we're going to try and cover different aspects of the XFL. Of course, obviously the main stuff, but just different things that are going on behind the scenes and things like that, just to try and help fans feel more connected to this league. Yeah. And then, of course, I know we talked about this before also. I'm starting to dip my toes into the podcast world, if you will, as well. Me and a couple of buddies are going to be doing a podcast talking about football in general, but we're going to have a little bit different take on it. We're going to cover football from a Texans perspective, right? Because this is the home of football. This is where football lives. This is its kingdom, whether it be Pop Warner football, high school, any of our colleges, stuff like that. High school football is that big. Like the stories you hear about Friday Night Lights, those are true. Cities shut down.
They made a movie and a TV show about that. So
100%.
TV show, you name it.
Hey, you said Texans, and Cullen just lit up. He was like, "Oh, Texans."
Oh yeah, no, definitely, Cullen. I definitely want to get you involved in this also, and have you come in and guest with us.
Absolutely.
But, so
that's cool.
That show is going to be called Texans Talking Football.
There you go.
I'm getting all the final details put together this weekend. We're going to start our show Monday after the Super Bowl. The reason why we picked that is because there's going to be a lot of people saying, "What's next?" Well, guys, what is next? The XFL is next, right? USFL, all these other football options that are going to be out there. So we're going to be using our platform to connect people to other football avenues, if you will. But we're always going to keep a Texas spin on it, right? Because Texas, we're the biggest, we're the best, baby.
We're just not going to talk about the Battlehawks. That's good.
Right, exactly.
All right, guys. I'm out. Later. Always talk about the Battlehawks. This happens right.
You can always find me on Twitter, SAJ_TTF, and I'm always all over the place on Facebook, whether it be the Battlehawks page. P.S. I'm the second most hated guy in St. Louis. I know that. It's okay, Amanda. You'll learn to tolerate me.
Tell your wife I say hi. I like her.
I definitely will. She's gonna love that, actually. And then of course I'm all over the place on the San Antonio Brahmas Facebook pages, and I'm just all over the place.
Yeah, this is what a Battlehawks fan looks like, just sleeping.
Oh, that is a cute cat, though. That is a cute cat, though.
Amanda, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having
me. Where can
me.
people find you?
B-Hawk Live show Wednesdays at 8:00.
Wednesdays 8:00,
and
that's
show.
8 p.m.
Like
Central.
our page.
And then of course Viva Texas. What are all your links, man?
So on TikTok, you'll find me for sure. It's my biggest following, viva.texas. And then on Instagram, viva_texas_co. The logo is the same, so you'll recognize it. And then I'm also on Facebook. So you'll see videos of me all over the place on all three platforms. I have a Twitter, and it's got my logo, but I do not use it because I hate Twitter. I might have my wife actually. I might have her actually get into her own persona that she's just herself texted me about. So don't be surprised if the mariachi shows up with Selena as his wife.
Ooh.
And then here's a little bit.
Can she sing? Can she sing?
I'm trying. I think she has a beautiful voice. She will disagree, but But she can dance. She can definitely dance like Selena.
There you go.
Now here's the thing, and this kind of goes back to what you had mentioned earlier about cultural appropriation. Obviously, Selena is Hispanic. She is the Tejana queen. My wife is the Caucasian lady from Oklahoma. And if someone has a problem with her dressing up as Selena, they're going to have a problem with me. So, again, it's just more of that bringing the cultures together and becoming one. And I think
you became a different mariachi there. I'm a reference to Robert Rodriguez as well.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think if I can convince her to go through with it, because this was her idea. She's like literally just texting me about it right now with this.
You know what? Your wife should do it. Good for her. She should do it. Absolutely.
I will tell her that that she's got the support of the XFL Nation, and if like I said, if anyone comes at her, you will see a very ugly side of me.
You'll have to deal with us.
Very ugly side.
There we go.
And as Dirty says, we are the X-Fan Legion, right?
I mean, and that just goes down to people just being jealous of what we're doing. Like, I mean, there's no reason for that. Everybody should support everyone. We all have our own different characters, our teams and everything. Everybody just be supportive, you know? We can sometimes, rag on each other, but it's all in good fun. And nobody should be getting offended about, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You're so sweet.
The only person you control is you. But worrying about what everyone else is doing.
Exactly.
And worry about you.
That's true. Yep.
So
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing: XFL Season 2 and beyond.
Yes.
Yep. XFL Season 10.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So this is going to be our last live broadcast until the end of the season, just due to when we broadcast and the time the games come on. But we'll be still active on our Facebook page with film reviews and XFL news and wrestling news and all that.
You crack me up. It might not be live, but you know damn well you're going to make me record something. So shut up.
Girl power.
Yes, but until then, it's time to ring that bell.